Hey, John, Bianca. Well, what I can tell you is that Massachusetts is the latest state to issue driver licenses to illegal immigrants that are identical to those here legally. A Massachusetts state website detailing ID requirements states starting July 1st, 2023, eligible residents in Massachusetts can obtain a standard Class D or M driver's license, regardless of immigration status, under the Work and Family Mobility Act. And an article from WBUR quotes Colleen Ogilvie, the Register of Massachusetts Motor Vehicles. She says the licenses are going to look like any other standard driver's license that we issue today. There'll be nothing on it that differentiates it from any other license. Meanwhile, here in Florida, a new law that invalidates out of state licenses given to illegal immigrants says the following: if a driver is of a class of licenses issued by another state exclusively to undocumented immigrants who are unable to prove lawful presence in the United States when the licenses are issued, the driver license or other permit purporting to authorize the holder to operate a motor vehicle on public roadways is invalid. Molly Best, the Director of Communications of Florida's Department of Highway and Motor Vehicles, sent us this statement reacting to the new laws put in place in Florida and Massachusetts. It reads, the new law went into effect on Saturday, and although Massachusetts was not one of the initial states whose driver licenses are no longer accepted in Florida, the list will evolve due to revisions of driver license issuance requirements in other states. As those occur, the list will be updated. And it is important to point out that the same law enacted in Florida also prohibits municipalities and counties from issuing identification documents to undocumented immigrants. Back to you.
All right, correspondent Leo Feldman with the latest on these new laws. Leo, thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah, let's welcome in our panel to discuss this. We have Washington editor of The Spectator, author of The Snowflakes Revolt, Amber Athey, and alongside her is faith and sports and culture commentator John Root. Welcome into you both.
Thanks, Bianca.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, so I mean, illegal immigrants, getting a driver's license. We've covered stories where there have been fatal accidents and it's an illegal immigrant at the wheel who should have never even been driving. And it's so sad when you hear from the victims' families. Not only are they mourning the loss of a loved one, but they're saying, why is this person even at the wheel? I think it's really interesting how Florida seems to be cracking down with the new immigration law and not letting illegals work here. And yet Massachusetts, a complete 180. Amber, first to you, your reaction.
Yeah, this is completely inappropriate. I have to wonder if Massachusetts will be making sure that these undocumented migrants, which is apparently what we're calling illegal immigrants now, if they're going to check to see if they even have insurance. Are they going to be driving around without insurance, so that if the unthinkable does happen and they get in an accident, are the drivers of Massachusetts who are citizens going to have to be on the hook for the damages? This is just another example of incentivizing illegal immigration. We've seen it time and again where illegal immigrants have access to public benefits. They have access to all types of charity and welfare that the taxpayers in America pay for. And it's really a shame that the taxpayers continuously get taken advantage of by these people who like to virtue signal to people who don't even pay into the system and have no business being here.
Yeah. John, what's your take on this? I mean, illegal aliens getting driver's licenses, who knows, one, if they even know how to drive. Number two, if they have insurance, which is incredibly important. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, we're already in a tough financial situation here in this country. And then just like Amber said, yeah, what if the unthinkable happens? What if there's a death? Not just a car accident, but a death. And it sounds like a lot of people will be on the hook for all this chaos that the left has provided. And what's happening here is they want people to come across the border. As Amber said, you're incentivized. Not only are you putting these kids, like you shared that horrible story a little bit before, you're putting them at risk. And they're getting trafficked into the country. You're having fentanyl that's just running through. And then now it's like, hey, we will give you all these things if you vote for us. That's why there's states like Florida that say, we will have none of this. We're going to care for our United States citizens. And if you are illegal, you are illegal. You are not allowed to come across this border. And if you have an illegal driver's license, we won't stand for it. And hopefully there's more like mass deportations because this isn't America First policies at all. It's just going to create more chaos. It's going to create more costs for taxpayers. And I can't see any of this going a good direction for America in the future.
Yeah, well, obviously, immigration is a huge issue in the election season. Let's pivot a bit and talk about abortion, because that's been another sort of hot button issue. You know, we're a year in since the overturning of Roe v. Wade. And, you know, Amber, I want to get your reaction to Arizona. The Democratic Attorney General, Chris May, is basically saying she is not going to enforce the state's abortion laws. She will not be prosecuting doctors if they violate what they have in Arizona, which is a 15-week abortion ban. And this comes just on the heels of days ago where Governor Katie Hobbs stripped county prosecutors in an executive order of doing the same. And it just kind of, you know, are we at a place now where the Attorney General say this may be law, but they get to pick and choose which ones they enforce?
Yeah, apparently, but not surprising from Democrats, because we know that these progressive prosecutors across the country have decided selectively which laws they want to enforce and which ones they don't. And it's led to absolute chaos in our city. So this is the latest example of that kind of attitude from the left. And unfortunately, it's also at the same time that Ohio has collected apparently enough signatures to get this amendment on the ballot that would allow minors to seek abortions without parental consent. They still have to see if all of those signatures are valid, but it's looking like that's going to be on the ballot in November. So both of these stories regarding abortion are a great reminder that just because Roe v. Wade was overturned does not mean the fight is over. People still have to get out and vote for pro-life politicians.
Well, hey, Amber, I want to get your opinion about something. Florida Governor DeSantis, do you think his 6-week abortion law, do you think that'll hurt him with female voters?
You know, maybe the media and the left really lie about a lot of these laws by claiming that they would apply to women who have to have life-saving measures taken, for example, in a non-viable pregnancy. And so I think a lot of women react to these things based on not what the law actually says, but what the media lies to them about. And regardless of what the political implications are, Ron DeSantis did the right thing by signing that bill, because that's going to save lives of the unborn.
John, just about 20 seconds to you. I know you were at one point in California. Gavin Newsom wants to make that a sanctuary place for all sorts of things.
Yeah, because I was born in California. I lived there for almost 30 years of my life. Now I'm out here in Phoenix, Arizona. And plain and simple, life begins at conception. Doesn't matter if you're left, right, center, Christian or not. That's a scientific fact. And to see states like this continually trying to push the right to murder children, this is the most vulnerable in our society. Just like Amber said, we should be fighting for pro-life politicians and policies.
John Root, Amber Athey, great conversation, and great to have you both in. I hope to see you back here real soon, guys.
Thanks so much.
Thanks, guys.